everybody, my name is Kashtira and welcome back to another video. Today, in this one, I'll be doing my Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list predictions for the December 2023/January 2024 ban list. This ban list looks to be interesting. The fact that we're in a diverse metagame makes it where I kind of have to talk about a lot of cards. This could be a potentially big ban list. We have 32 cards that we have to talk about today, so it's going to be a long video. There's probably like 10 to 15 other cards that I'm missing as well. So there's a lot of things that can happen on this next ban list. So without further ado, let's get into my prediction. So the first prediction I have is when the ban list is actually going to release. So my thought process is probably going to be late December, early January. Probably around there is when we're going to get a ban list. If I had to put an exact date on it, fuck it, let's say Christmas Day. Give us a Christmas Day ban list. Do it, Konami. You don't have the balls. They probably won't do that. But that would be fun if they actually did it. So yeah, let's actually get into the card, shall we? We'll start off with a Pot of Prosperity here. So, this is interesting. This is a really broken card that I think probably should be hit in the next list. I think they'll probably limit it. Probably makes sense because finally Pot has its reprint in the 25th anniversary collection. I think it's time for this card to actually get hit. Every deck can pretty much play this card. It makes sense for this card to be hit. Where they're going to put it is going to be interesting. Some people might say they might semi-limit it. I think it probably should be limited. I think if you semi-limit it, I don't think it's just not going to do enough. I think if you put a limit on Pot of Prosperity, it makes it where you can still pretty much play it, but you're not going to see it as much. So I think at limit, I think it makes sense. Super Polymerization. This is a broken card that probably shouldn't exist in the game. If going to be honest, should be in the ban section, but they're probably not going to do that. Are they going to hit Super Poly this list? I don't think they're going to. I think they're probably going to keep it at 3. I don't think they're going to put any changes on it. It just doesn't. It's one of those cards where they've had so many times where they could have hit this card and they haven't. And for this next ban list, I just don't see them changing it. Even though it's a card that probably should be here or here, I just don't think they're going to change it. I don't think they're just going to keep it at 3 for right now. Kashtira Fenrir. Again, another card that's really good. Pretty much every deck can play it. Let's put it in the semi-limited. I don't think they're going to immediately go after it immediately and put it to 1. Maybe they go for semi-limit straight away. Maybe they do the same thing with Pot. Maybe you switch Pot and Kashtira Fenrir. I don't know. It's just like, it's a good card and it probably will be hit next list just because it's really, really good. But like, I can also see them just not change it at all. Just keep it at 3 as well. But I'm going to put it in the middle where they just put it at 2, where you can pretty much still somewhat see it. But, you know, I think it's still a pretty good card. I don't think they're going to, you know, go necessarily hard hit it to 1. I think at 2 is probably fine. Dimensional Shifter. This is a weird one. I don't think this is one of those cards that everyone wants to be hit just because it's Shifter. It's unfair to play against. But I think, to be honest with you, I don't think they're going to change anything about it. They've had so many ban lists where they could change it. Let me fucking lift my chair up there for a second. Where they could change this card, but I just don't think they're going to hit it. I really don't think they're going to hit it this list. I don't know. I think it's going to do no change. I don't think they're going to hit this card. Calamities. This is probably the same thing. They're probably not going to hit Calamities. Why do I think that? Because the only really deck that's using it right now is Centurion. And Centurion just got released, so I don't really think they need, like, this card should probably be banned, but like only one deck is using it right now, and that deck just got released, so they're probably not going to go after a deck that just got released, and this is really the only reason why to play that deck, so they're probably not going to ban this card at all. Baron de Fleur, I mean, a lot of people hate it, but I don't know, I don't think this card's fine. I don't think it really needs to do anything. Two Tails of the Noble Knight, Isolde, man, oh man, oh man. I think it is that time. I think it is that time to ban Isolde. Not only is obviously something like Infernoble Knights using it, but, you know, Rescue is also using this as well. I don't know. I see this as it's probably time for it to go. It sucks because if you are playing Infernal Knights, this is kind of the main reason why you want to play that deck. So if you hit this, Infernal Knight probably falls off. But I think a Soul Day is just enough of a problem and generic enough where I think it should be banned. So yeah, we're going to go with that. And then Aqua Dolphin. If you think Aqua Dolphin's a problem, you're a fucking idiot. It does not do anything. Connector is more of a problem than Aqua Dolphin is. A Soul Day is the real reason why Aqua Dolphin's a problem. If you ban a Soul Day, Aqua Dolphin's perfectly fine. Again, I don't think this card is a problem at all. It's just because a Soul Day exists that makes it Aqua Dolphin a problem. Does not need to do anything to it. Eradicator Epidemic Virus. This is one of those cards that probably shouldn't exist, but I don't see them changing at all either. Like, it probably should be in the ban section, but like only one deck can really use it, which is Labyrinth. And they're not even main decking it anymore. This is not even their game plan anymore. This is more just of a side deck option for them, so like they can prevent something like Lightning Storms and shit like that. And cards like Anti-Spill and Solemn Judgment kind of do the same thing. I don't really think they need to do anything to this card, which is weird to me. But again, I don't think this card deserves to go anywhere. Dimensional Barrier is kind of the same thing. Like, you could probably argue this card shouldn't exist and it should be banned. But in this current meta right now, Dimensional Barrier is not really doing anything except like against like purely exactly and maybe some branded decks as well. Like against Unchained, against Rescue, and sometimes even against Tearlaments. Like, it just doesn't do enough. Like, even like Labyrinth, a deck that can really take advantage of this, they're side decking it just because it's really not that good to main deck right now. So again, I just don't think they're not necessarily going to ban these cards. Big Welcome. So this is the one hit you probably do if you're going to go after Labyrinth, but I don't think they're going to go after Labyrinth this list. I think they're probably going to keep this as no change. Just because, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to hit Welcome right now. Maybe in the next list you can go after something like Big Welcome, but as of right now, I think if you hit Big Welcome, Labyrinth kind of just falls off. So, I don't know, I don't think you really want to hit this. Oh boy, the Millers. Okay, so this is where things get interesting, right? I really, like, obviously these are cards that shouldn't exist either. But man, you want my hot take? I don't think these cards need to be hit at all. I think they're fine. The only deck that can really take advantage of them is something like Tearlaments, and like Tearlament is not really like it's there. It's a deck that you have to worry about, but is it the best deck in the room you have to worry about? Probably not. It's the only reason why Tearlament is in existence right now. So if you do hit these cards, Tearlament just dies. Tearlament just straight up dies. So that's kind of my problem with it. Is man, I just don't like I think they probably will ban it because they did it in Master Duel and they did do it in the OCG as well. But man, I don't know. I like, it's one of those things, they probably will ban it, but I just don't feel right about it. I really don't. I don't think they could, it makes sense why they want to ban it, but like, I don't know. It's like, it's a 50-50 toss up. Like, if you want to ban it, ban it. If you don't, I'm perfectly fine with you not banning it either. Next thing up is like Tour Guide, so the Unchained hit. So I think Tour Guide will probably get limited this next list, just because it's a powerful one card combo for not only Unchained, but for the upcoming Goblins as well. So I think this is probably a card that they should hit. Unchained Shavara, on the other hand, I don't think they should really hit this. Like, if you hit Tour Guide, I think that's enough of a hit to Unchained where it's fine. If you hit Shavara, if you limit Shavara, I think that puts Unchained in a really rough position. I don't think you want to do something like this to Unchained. So I think you should keep Shavara at 3 for now. Maybe next list you go after it, and then go for something like the Tour Guide and limit Tour Guide and stuff like that. I think that's probably fine with me. Purely Sleepy Memory. I don't think they should hit Purely. I think if they go after Purely, I think that's just unfair. Like, if they put this to 1, having Delicious and Sleepy at 1 really does suck for the deck. So I don't think they should go after Purely this list. Maybe in the following list you can go after it. I don't think this should be bad. I don't think they should hit Purely right now, just because the format is too diverse. Runic Tip. So I don't have Fountain on here because I just don't think they're going to hit Fountain. So I just want a YCS. So, I mean, there is a chance they do hit Runic Tip. There's a real possibility they go after Runic Tip. I don't know. I think this is probably fine to do no changes. I don't really think there's that much of a problem with the runic stuff. I think there's just better stuff. Obviously, it did just win a YCS, but I don't really think there's a thing. I don't think it justifies going after runic right now. So now on to the rescue stuff. What are they going to hit in rescue? I think HQ is fine. I don't think HQ is a problem. Like, if you ban HQ, that kind of takes their follow-up away. I don't think HQ is that much of a problem. Airlifter is fine as well. I think emergency should be limited. This puts it where you only have the one emergency to work with, so it makes it where, like, going after the airlifter is pretty nice. So, like, putting imperm on the airlifter is pretty good. So I think putting the limit on emergency is just better. I think banning HQ is like a cool idea in theory, but I think emergency limit is probably just better. So I think that's probably where I stand on that. Brand Diffusion, it's doing nothing. Branded is not that great right now. Kashtira Unicorn can probably go to 3. Again, Arise Heart's the only reason why Kashtira as a deck was playable. So, like, keeping this at 2 just doesn't make sense. I think at 3 is fine. Engage, it's at 2 right now, and I think they'll probably move it to 3. Engage is pretty much doing nothing at 2. It probably will not do anything at 3, but this is a dangerous option. But, you know, it's fun to see Engage go to 3. Same thing with Spellbook of Judgment. I mean, like, it's doing nothing. Like, what was this realistically going to do? It's at, I think it's at 2 right now. It's doing nothing, and it's like, it's doing nothing. I think it's fine to go to 3. Kieran. Magic Specters are getting their new support pretty soon, so I think it's a card that probably should come off. I think it's a card that makes sense to go to 1 just because the Magic Specters are getting new support, and it's probably, you know, get Magic Spectre more support. So yeah, it makes sense to go to 1. The Dragon Rulers, I think the ones that are left should go to 1. The ones that are left banned, the Redox and Title, should go to 1, so we have every single Dragon Ruler at 1. I think that would be pretty cool to see. I don't think Dragon Rulers are going to do anything in this format, just because, I mean, there's no really broken rank 7 right now, so it'd be just nice to see all the Dragon Rulers be at 1. That would be pretty cool to see. Orcust Harpour, why the fuck is this not off the list yet? This should have happened like a year ago. Like, a Harpour is fine. Again, if they usually take cards off the ban list, they usually put it to 1 before they put it to the 3. I think it's a card that's fine at 3, but they'll probably put it at 1 for the next list. Miscellaneousaurus is a weird one. I think Dinos are at, like, Dinos is still decent, but I think they need a little bit more of a boost. So we're going to put Misk at 2 for the next list. Even though I personally don't like Misk, I think it's probably fine to move to 2. Probably won't change that much for the deck. Pankratops, honestly, put it to 3. Honestly, especially if you hit Fenrir this next list, why not put Pankratops to 3? I think it's a perfectly fine card. Give budget players another, you know, Fenrir at home, right? So putting this at 3, I think makes really good sense, especially if you have a list where you hit the Fenrir as well. So yeah, this makes sense to me. Grass looks greener. You know what? Put it to 1. Put it to 1. See what we can do with 60 cards. At 1, I don't think you can really do that much with Grass at 1. If at 3, I think it's a problem. At 3, I think it is a problem. But if it's limited, I think it's probably fine. MX Saber Invoker, I think it can come off. It happened in Master Duel. It happened in the OCG. I think it can happen in the TCG. You know, it gives something like the Goblin riders in Phantom Nightmare something to work with, another rank 3 they can work with as well. So I think this is pretty good to come off as well. And the last card I have here is Zodiac Trident. I think is another card that can probably come to 1 as well. As long as, like, Zodiac Barrage stays banned, I think Trident is probably fine to come off to 1. And that is my prediction. So for the bans, I have Isolde and the Millers, which, you know, I can go back and forth. If you don't want to hit the Millers, I can perfectly understand that, but they probably will ban it next list. For the limitations, I have Pot of Prosperity, Tour Guide, Emergency, Kieran, the Dragon Rulers, Harpour, Grass Looks Greener, MX Saber Invoker, and Trident, which I think is fine with me as well. I think the only one that you might protest is something like the Tour Guide. Maybe you want to put Shavara in that rotation, but I think Tour Guide is just a better hit. Semi-limit, Fenrir and Miscellaneousaurus. Maybe you could put Fenrir to 1, but I think they'll probably semi-limit it or something like that. So that's probably fine with me. Oh, shit, where did Fenrir go? I put the limited. Unlimited, Unicorn's doing nothing at 2. Again, Rise Heart was the only reason why that was a deck. Engage is doing nothing at 2. Spellbook is doing nothing. And Pankratops would just be nice to see at 3 as well. And then for the no changes, I just don't think they're going to hit these cards this list. So yeah, that is my ban list predictions. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.